Greetings everybody and welcome to Thursday Night Fights here on G4G. The channel sits on YouTube. The host sitting behind the mic is Napalm Dawn. The game is Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux Beta 6.18. So it is essentially the 6.16 version patched up to 6.18. And today we have Thursday Night Fights, which as you know is a PvP video. Today we are doing a viewer request. This one comes from channel viewer Xarchon, and we're going to go ahead and go into it. So first I'm just going to go into a little bit of account maintenance over here. I've got Cap training up to 15. He is, I think, going to be my third 15. Iron Man is. Hawkeye wandered up there. Yeah, so he's going to be my third 15. Mostly I slow down with my characters once I get above level 9, because that's when all the skills open up, and then I really kind of slow down around 12 when all the ISOs open up and everything. So that is why you don't see too many 15s for me, but they're definitely getting up there. Also, Thundra is ready. And I think I'll put Juggernaut over there. And this is one of the available X-Force skins that is in Season 1. It is X-Force Archangel. It very, very much changes Angel around drastically from being a very supportive generalist to a very offensive scrapper. And he is one of the only ways that you can get Nanoplague at this stage of the game. And Despair on a character. There is some agent gear that does Despair, like the Brute, which is in Season 1, but you don't get a lot of Despair in Season 1. But Angel is one of the ways of doing it. I will be doing the Wonder Man Spec Ops tomorrow, which is Friday. The stream is probably going to start a little bit late since I will be working, but I tend to scoot out of there a little early on Friday, and we will be streaming Friday on Halloween. So we're going to work on Wonder Man and then eventually Damon, which will give us Satana through the lockboxes, and then we will have Constrictor, which is the current lockboxes. I'm going to be slowing a lot of my progression down during the general day, so in other words off camera, because once I get to everything being unlocked, there isn't really that much to do in terms of my videos and my streams and everything like that. The only thing would be farming gear, and a lot of the gear that I have out of Season 1's chapters and those missions I definitely have already. There is some Spec Ops gear I suppose I could farm, but remember, everybody is equal to me now, so I don't really particularly think of myself as special, and my content really isn't something that preps you for anything, because everybody can do exactly what I do, and I basically consider myself of no real importance here, especially in this stage of the game. So I think I will reserve a lot of my progress for on-camera work. This way we can draw things out a little bit, but honestly, there's eventually going to be a stop point. If you guys are here for the entertainment, great, then maybe we can continue. But if you guys are here to see stuff that you don't have access to or haven't gotten yet, eventually everybody's going to catch up. And I'm not particularly special, and that is perfectly fine. So we'll see how that goes. So today, the team that we are going to be using seems to be based around pressure points and Paragon exploitation. I'm going to stick with the Agent 19 uniform, as it is pretty versatile. I think maybe you would be hard-pressed to use any other uniform when you have unrestricted PvP, because this one is just so powerful. I think the devs did a phenomenal work with this uniform. Your Mockingbird in boots, basically. However, there are certainly agent designs where if you have a specific theme in mind for your agent, other uniforms might be better. If you wanted to do a glass cannon, you might go blaster. If you wanted to do a really solid protector agent, you might go Bruiser. Until ISOs get in the game, specifically E-ISOs, which are not in the game because they are Season 2 content, I think this is a very strong uniform. Once you do get E-ISOs, I think people will have enough flavor in what they want out of their agent that this uniform's power will go down a little bit. But hey, that could be very much what the devs intended for this. They were probably giving you a really, really solid, very versatile suit early on when the choices are not high. Now, you do get a lot of PvP suits in Season 1 that have passives on them, and you could build a team around those passives. That is certainly a possibility, but this stands as a very strong uniform unless you have a very specific idea in mind for your agent. So let's get into one of Exarchon's submissions to me. We're going to do 5 matches with them. So Havok is going first. We do see a tactician. We see a bruiser. So one of the things I could do is attempt... Now, okay, if the passives were working correctly, I could try and punch Valkyrie, which activates my blaster benefit, and then I can do plasma spheres. However, we do want to shut down Storm as a tactician. The crits aren't exactly working correctly. They work for your blaster if you're hitting a bruiser, but then they don't translate to everybody else. So yeah, plasma spheres is the way to go. Oh, by the way, I did ISO both Nightcrawler and Havok as per the old PKB, how I ISO'd my heroes guide. I do need to show that off. We will do that after the first fight. So some people wonder what Valkyrie is good for, and they kind of skip her OS. I've seen that around the community. You have to remember she's one of the few people in the early part of the game that have a summon attack, and that is really Satana, Daemon, and the 2 horsies, which is Valkyrie and Black Knight. So a summon attack that is an AoE is pretty solid. Plus she has one of the only desperation attacks in Season 1, and she goes into that by sacrificing her health to protect the team. So you can get Valkyrie to hit really, really hard. Also, she is electrical based with one of her abilities, so she's good with the Spark Plugger, the Lightning Rod, Thor, and Storm, and she has a very, very good PvE bonus team up or tub with Thor. So Valkyrie is solid. Is she a must-have? Maybe not, but she is very solid and is worth getting. Plus, her Spec Ops does have some good gear. A lot of the defensive teams lean into the Hoarfrost Mace as their tanking weapon on the agent. I'm surprised I don't see more Knight, and I do see some Blade of the Guardians at this stage of PvP. But, yeah, the Hoarfrost Mace is pretty solid, plus the Flashing Eye is very good for group bosses. We know we have some Paragon debuffs out there. It is incorrectly listed as pressure points. It's not supposed to say that. It is supposed to be the pressure point that they are affected with. So, I'm going to try to Slapnuts Valkyrie, and we'll see if there's actually anything there to exploit. Solid damage. I don't feel that perhaps it exploited anything, but it was still very solid. Crystal Shiv has a unlisted counter effect to it. When you look at the tooltips for the Crystal Shiv, it doesn't list it, but please be aware that it does in fact have it. So we can go ahead and bring it up. We'll look at the original tooltip outside of the game. See there, counterattack. The tooltip doesn't list it, but it does have it, and that's what's really good about the Crystal Shiv. So, instead of the Techno-Organic Endoskeleton, you could run a tanking weapon and hope that you can spread debuffs around with the Crystal Shiv. Let's Plasma Wave Storm. Well, actually, let's Plasma Wave the Agent. This way Nightcrawler can get his Infiltrator reflex. I'm not particularly amazed by that one. And I think that is because the actual pressure point debuffs are not officially there. My agent is hurt. Everybody else is pretty healthy, although stamina is a little low. Except for Nightcrawler, but Nightcrawler's gonna do Nightcrawler things. Easy win. By the way, yes, Nightcrawler is bugged. The bleeds that he's supposed to have in his swashbuckler uniform or his pirate uniform are not there. So real quickly, here's Havok. Using the PKB method, we are 1 ISO short. He looks like he's up there pretty good, with the exception of attack and defense, but his accuracy is there. Nightcrawler is a little weird. I have him topped out as per PKB, but his accuracy and his evasion are coming up short. He has a lot of natural evasion, so this isn't the worst thing in the world, but the accuracy should be a little bit higher. If you were to use the PKB method on Nightcrawler, it's hard to do it until later in the game because he uses ISOs that don't unlock until a little bit later. The white ones, which I think were patient, and the red ones, which were violent. You have to spend gold to get violent earlier in the game, but eventually you can just get it to where you're spending silver. So we have a tanking agent who is a scrapper, bad for Nightcrawler. We have an infiltrator and a tactician, so it's kind of a mixed bag over there. We know the agent is going to tank, so I'm going to hit him with the Shiv. Solid damage from the Shiv as an opener, really good crit. Counterattack from the MAA Triggerman. She mind-linked... I don't know who. Who did she mind-link? Herself? She mind-linked herself. That is really weird for Phoenix, and that defeats the purpose of having a tanking agent, so good job there, AI. Exhausting Rescue is extremely important, because if Rescue was working the way her full kit is supposed to work, we know she gets 2 turns when she uses her level 1, and she's a tactician, we have a blaster, so that is definitely the opening salvo. Unfortunately, the debuffs are a little bit wonky, so we need to just try and add more debuffs from Nightcrawler and my agent. So there's Bamf. However, the follow-up Scrapper hit was really bad. Yeah, let's do... Okay, we'll do that first. And then we'll do Shadow Dance. We know the Scrapper already has the Scrapper bonus, so that's okay. Please counter that. Nice. Okay, so Rescue self-immolated there, basically. She committed the El Suicido. She has pressure points, which actually isn't really a debuff, and exhausted. Mild shot from the Crystal Shiv. With the exception of Nightcrawler, we are looking very healthy, and it's 3-on-1. So we're definitely winning this. Again, no real debuffs there. That should add a few. And that'll actually just kill her. And that'll overkill her, my god. The Dark Sigil I'm not actively using. That is a weird bug that happens where your PvE loadout bleeds into your PvP. Alright, so we're 2-0. You can see the gear. This is so that I don't bleed and stuff like that. I could, as I said, put in a tanking weapon here, bring attacks to my agent, and then counter with the Cosmic Cardinal and the Crystal Shiv. That is a possibility. 2-0, let's see what we get for the third one. We get Agent X with the Odin staff. Where's that, the Shepherd staff? That one is the Shepherd staff, excuse me. Yeah, the Shepherd staff, which is the one that you build from the quest. The Odin one is the cane. Okay, so we have a tactician over there. We do need to exhaust him, so plasma spheres. Hopefully we can actually really get out some exploitable debuffs this time around and set up for a good plasma wave. Because let's be honest, when you go to the arena and you watch Havok fight, that's what you're there for. We all know what you look at when it comes to Captain Britain and Havok. You're looking for the big numbers. You're looking for the big hit, big deeps. Cosmic Cardinal is good for Havok. And so Chain Teleport is interesting. Chain Teleport is a lovely follow-up after you've hit somebody with Shadow Dance, or the team Shadow Dance, I should say. Because then he has a chance to follow up on anybody who has those debuffs. Goodbye, Agent. Weak hit from the Shiv, but still a solid one. Again, no real pressure point debuffs out there, so let's try and create some with the Shiv. Everybody's sphincter closes up when they see Iron Patriot do that in PvP. Because you're just figuring, here comes the wave wipe. Oh boy, Nightcrawler. So much damage. So much damage. Are we gonna... We need to toss Havok some meat over here. I'm just gonna pass. I'm just gonna recharge, and let's see what Havok can do here. Again, not... I mean, exhausted, yes, but not just... Really not a lot of great debuffs to exploit. 7.1k white hit, not bad. 3-0, again, not under a tremendous amount of pressure. So far the team is working out really, really well. We've got this team again. This team could be a little bit hardier than some of the other ones, so maybe we can get some good setups on this one. Still, we have to open up with that, because we don't want Storm getting pissy on us. And then let's shield break Goofy. Sorry about that, Goofy. Speaking of Goofy, look down in the description below for the more up-to-date GoFundMe that is out there. As I said in my last video, Goofy is going to be traveling about 5 states away from where he lives, because his brother, who has been sick for some time and recovering, is now going to get covered under government assistance. However, that means Goofy needs to not live with him anymore, and that is something that is extremely tough. So, Goofy is going to be traveling across the country to live in the area of another dev on the team, and there is a GoFundMe that was created by said dev, which is Panda, to help Goofy out with his move, essentially halfway across the country, really, from the upper central portion of the United States to the upper west portion. So if you do have some spare change, go take a look at the GoFundMe below and try to help Goofy out as much as you can. Alright, Valkyrie is near death, so I'm just trying to get Havok set up a little bit here. Yeah, not getting any real debuffs going out there. I'll try another hit, but I'm sure what it's doing is, quote, pressure points. Yeah, it's pressure points and not the actual random chance of the debuffs in the pressure points category. However, weakened is a direct debuff when I'm just gonna miss. Remember when we were talking about accuracy a little bit ago? Oh, there you go. Oh, he's immune to debuffs. He didn't even get combo set up. Alright. Weak. I'm sorry, guys. We're not really setting up Havok for the big hit here. Kicks like a mule is working. It's just a little weird. Oh boy. See what I mean about Valkyrie with desperation attacks? That's kind of big. We were in a little bit of danger. I'm in danger. 4-0. That one was a little risky there at the end. If I had to recharge one more time and Havok was like still stunned for another round or so, could have been potentially dangerous. Alright, same team. Valkyrie's a bruiser. Can we get the big crit? Okay, alright. We've got some actual pressure point debuffs this time. Again, I have to do the spheres. I think we will try to apply a tiny bit of single target to Valkyrie. Just... yeah, that. Oh my god, come on, Nightcrawler. There's the summon attack we were talking about. Okay, he's a... we gotta do it. We can't, I'm sorry, we can't do the typical conservative setup with Havok here. We have to go balls to the wall. We need one of these in this video. Let's do Blaster on Bruiser, big plasma wave, a bunch of actual pressure point debuffs this time. Let's see what we get. There you go. Christ. I'm so sorry that you had to wait the entire video for that. The suspense was not on purpose at all. But hey, you know, Act 3, redemption for our hero. We had the struggle arc over there, and now we have the redemption. And Storm still hasn't taken advantage of a blaster. Nightcrawler is not doing a good job at countering that stuff. Tell me you don't love that sound effect. Nightcrawler is one of those characters where I just love his audio and graphical presentation of the character when he's doing his moves. He's so much fun with the sound effects and the abilities and everything. Oh, an act of a desperate man. Here, Storm, take 57 turns as I die. Ugh. There's the sound effects to it. Okay, finally for a change, we get a Havok match instead of a Nightcrawler match. Let's do one more and actually do the full setup for Havok. We'll, oh, okay, so interesting. We don't have attrition debuffs this time, so that's good, because Wonder Man's immune to them, but he's not immune to pressure points, and he's weakened. This is good. Oh, that's gonna be a scrapper. Ooh, Nightcrawler gives no fucks. He ignores everything. Okay. He does... okay. Let's see what happens here. Channel energy. Is he gonna lose his turn? Don't lose your turn. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Don't... damn it. Alright, we'll soften him up with a few more debuffs. Neurotrope. Okay, alright. Here we go. We use channel energy. He's got the max cosmic energy. Consumes all... this should be the biggest hit of this entire video. You thought what you last saw was what you were waiting to see. Well, let's try this. About the same. Just... yeah, sorry guys. About the same. Nothing particularly fancy. Oh, Nightcrawler. Oh, Nightcrawler. Dangerous tanking. But now she's weakened, and maybe she'll be stunned? No stun. threat on the agent, which may spread to Omega Sentinel. Maybe. Nope. Didn't get it. He's stunned. Yes, his abilities pop up briefly. Okay, let's see if my agent can slap nuts for big damage over here. Again, not a lot of debuffs, but I do believe combo setup does count towards pressure points. I know it actually counts in either the Paragon or the Opportunist. I think it's maybe Opportunist because it's not an anti... No, it should be Paragon because it's not anti-class. Alright, let's see what happens. Solid. And Nightcrawler, honestly, he's doing a really good job. I mean, he's missed the dodge on a few of these, but he still took it like a champ. Alright, there you go. There is Havok and Nightcrawler along with the agent. Now, what season can you apply this to? Well, obviously unrestricted. However, it would count in the mutant season, but the mutant season occurs so early, you're not going to have Havok unlocked for it, or the great majority of this gear. I don't know what the team has planned for PvAI once you get to this point, because the problem is the pieces of the Shepherd Staff can be bought from the store or won from playing PvAI. Once you get done with the Bishop season, you can't do tournaments. If you can't do tournaments, you can't get 5 daily wins. If you can't get 5 daily wins, you can't get the PvP spinner, which means you can't get your 10 items, 5 feathers, 5 catasites. It says it's going to be in the store. However, when we go to the store and we go to supplies, it never really appears there. There's the Phoenix Essence and you're like, ooh, but that's not really it. Now, if they were purchasable in the store, it would be great. I mean, it'd be a little expensive, but not too bad. And when you see enemy agents using it in PvAI, you're like, man, stop taunting me like that. So... yeah, Satanas are popping early. Yeah, unfortunately, there just isn't anything we can do there. Slightly disappointing. It means that if you know what you're doing during the Bishop season, you can loss farm, which is where you get your... like your 5 wins, but then you keep like winning 5, losing 5, winning 5, losing 5, until your daily spinners give you the 10 items that you need, and then you're like, okay, time to beat the season, get out of here. The only thing that suffers is the screenshot pride. You're gonna show a record of like 40, 30 wins out of 40, 50 attacks. But who cares? If you're not sharing your screenshots with anybody, then it doesn't matter. And you got the gear, and you got the Shepherd Staff, so congratulations to you. Alright, so that is it for Thursday Night Fight, folks. Look for me on Twitch tomorrow, Friday, the week before Halloween. However, I will be late, so don't look for me quite at 3, but I should be on around 4. Just subscribe, turn on your notifications, or take a look by at like 3:30 and then again at 4 o'clock, and we'll see. I will see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video.